Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to spend time with you, and I wish I could do more of that right now. I'm trying to get ready for the class we have coming up. It should be a good one. I hope you guys strap in for the ride. We're going to take some travels, but I know a lot of you are working hard to get your health back, and just feel confident that you will, and that we'll be here with you all the way. All the good folks on the YouTube and doing the Facebook sites. This is a long road for some of you, and for some of you, you're already getting there. Look at some of the neat effects that you're seeing the world over. Isn't that pretty cool? We got a guy that's a spinal paralysis. He's halfway walking now. He's out of his chair. This guy's really kicking butt. And that's what I mean. His whole passion is into his wellness. And I just talked with him, and he's everything's coming on electrically again for him now. He feels everything now, and he's getting up, and he's actually in leg braces instead of a wheelchair. So it's incredible to see those of you, because the regeneration is there. I wouldn't put it out there if it wasn't factual, because I have no agenda here except for what I'm being told is the agenda. But outside of that, I don't have any reason. It's just that man needs to understand how simple health is, how easy it is to get it back. It might take some time. It might have some Humpty Dumptys to them because of all the genetic weaknesses and all the levels of toxicity out there. But the focus is always the same. And, sometimes we cook food to stop things, and we go more raw or into fasting to speed things. And we kind of play this little game to get you going down that road. So when things get too tough on you, we pull back a little bit. When we need to, we kick it up a little bit. And that's what this is. It's between you and your body, and all that consciousness that's come down on it all these years, the influence of the family tree and all of this. And you're doing very well with this. You guys have some pretty nice questions here. I'm going to cover as much as we can today. Somebody didn't show up, and that works out perfect for me. And I want to show you a new element we found. Another new element. I love it. When this chemist said man-made to me the other day, when I talked about these two new elements we found, I kind of cut it back, as I remember, when chemistry, you think about the man-made elements, but an element, man-made, is freaky. You can see a compound or something with the rearrangement and the magnetic rebonding of chemistry, but when you get down to the elements, interesting how we are. We're just like kids with a chemistry set, and I have to say that I had a chemistry set growing up. I was really interested in chemistry and how it worked, so I played in chemistry. And at least there, you don't have to be too proper in your English, right? I'm an old farm boy, guys. I was raised farming. All my uncles had farms. We had a couple of farms. We had a lot of different things. And then we raised horses and stuff. And there's just always work, And my grandmother, I was raised by my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, and it was me and my sister. And my dad took a hike. I didn't even really met him till I was in my 20s, I think. But my grandfather was my dad. And he was a workaholic. If you're going to be successful in life, you're going to work. That's the bottom line here. There's a lot of work in being successful. Some people look at successful people and complain sometimes, but there's a lot of work to being successful at times. Some people are lucky, design something that takes off, but really there's always a lot of work in making companies go and getting things done like that. And so my grandmother was a school teacher, and she taught 1 through 12. So there was always proper etiquettes, always your napkins and your forks and your spoons, and then every word had to be pronunciated correctly. And then you have English teachers out there who think there's proper and improper English. My grandmother is one of them, a smack on the finger, or always correcting your English. The trouble, as I learned, is there is no proper English. I look at all the different, you go to Portugal, you go to Brazil, and you have all these cross languages from Italian to Brazilian or Spanish, all the way to Portuguese. And you have all these crosses, and then you have the slangs of each one of them. So someone says I didn't know how to pronunciate something, or, I have a little slang. Yeah, I developed a lot of slang, and I just don't really care anymore because, and there was something brought up about professionalism or something, and I'm thinking, when I go to a car dealer and I want to buy a car or something, and a guy comes out with a suit and tie, I actually go the other way. Because I know when I sit down with a suit and tie person, I'm not talking to a real person. I'll be honest with you, most of them, there's some real people in suit and tie, don't get me wrong. But I can tell you, we're the most constipated country there is. I like to take our lawmakers, take them over to India, serve them up some Indian food, then give them a good colonic and introduce them to raw foods. And then put robes on everybody so they don't have these ties. You'll see me with suits on in the past in lectures, but never a tie. And we're just sitting there, and here's all our congressmen, everybody with all these ties choking themselves up, and they just look constipated. Sometimes professionalism breeds ignorance. And we have this ambiance or whatever it is around people with ties and professionalism, and you believe everything they say, and it's like, not a lot of us don't tend to go to those kind of people. I'd rather pick up a good old boy shop, sit around and talk with them, just straight language. And I think Americans need a lot more of that. We're so constipated, fear-based. I mean, it's amazing here in America. A lot of you Brits have gotten over that. But, this is still, it's amazing here how people always have to say things in the negative about people. And it's just what I said about getting out of your mind. It breeds narcissism and that sort of thing, the ego. So, forgive me if I don't pronunciate everything correctly, or I don't have my little finger sticking out here all the time, Anyway, I put up a couple of these. When people write in something negative real bad, I like to put them up as learning letters for you. Because for me, we could just take them off and just... But you know what? I think that it's important that we start curtailing that sort of thing and start learning to respect each other's experiences, because some of you have had a lot of experiences. I'm going to want to know what you know. And I think the important thing is sharing our knowledge. That's what I love about this YouTube site. I consider all of us working together. I don't consider it's just me and I have all the knowledge. Not even close. I just opened some doors. You guys with the smarts out there and the brains, you guys are going to take this all kinds of levels, and I'm excited as all get out. I don't know what people expect of one person, but I certainly love all of you guys. You're doing so well. I was wanting to go through these comments here. Some of these things, let me see. Jenny prefer less time talking about out of alignment, Captain Morse. Glad you get to. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks a lot. I love all your comments here. Yeah. Get off of their meds. Here's another doc. You're going to see more and more, and a lot of the good docs out there, a lot more. I think you're going to see a coming together and a oneness of this consciousness. It has to be anyway. And, we start getting rid of supplements and things that are really, they have nowhere. They cost you money and they take you nowhere. I think it's important that we all move toward the botanical side of life, because then we get away from this chemistry that we're creating issues with and stuff, and really bring that body into a homeostasis with the foods, and the body will find its own homeostasis there. Oh, and David Icke, is that Icke? I've known about him for a long time. I've got a lot of his books in here. It's just that I quit reading because I didn't want anybody else. After you learn how to have out-of-body travels, the thing about health is simple. There's nothing else to learn. You can get deep in the body, but just the lesson that allopathy teaches us is that if we get too intellectual, we lose our ability to know and to understand, because then we just take off with the mind. And let me tell you, the mind can severely restrict your ability to know God. It loves to chatter. It loves to think it's the one. It loves to get in your way. It loves to know itself always right. And all these things with the mind, and of course it chatters on with thoughts and images and things like that. And of course the emotions the same way. You know, we jump from one desire to another desire to another desire. Break that chain, and you'll find your happiness coming back. Mm-hmm. Just trying to see. There was a couple of good comments here I wanted to bring out, but maybe I'll just, go through and read them this way. That way I don't take up our time. It says, what makes a body get a high base, and I suppose you mean chemistry? You know, it's a good question. I thought about this a lot, you know, and sometimes if the bicarbonate gets up there too much, I guess. I was thinking also in the thyroid-parathyroid issue, if you went low calcium utilization, you might see some loading of electrolytes and maybe some alkalinity there. And I'm sure there's so many other ways to get alkalosis, no question about it. But I really find that most of us, keeping it on the simple side, is acidosis. And even if it was any degree of alkalosis, that's going to all be corrected when you bring in this chemistry right. In other words, when you start eating fruits, berries, and melons, believe it or not, their chemistry is all set proportionately correct. Now, there's a given to this, and that is the high nitrogen fertilizers and all the chemistry that some of these people that are using chemical fertilizers that can affect the quality of the nutrition, no question. But if we can enrich and keep, and I don't know why anybody would want to feed a tree that way. Trees feed themselves, and of course we use mulch, and I use cow manure under my my orange trees, and it really is good. You know, organic cow manure, and from good cows, organic cow manure. And it's just really good. A little hot for vegetables, but there's all kinds of things. Your waste from your smoothies and your juices. I put all of my green drink particles. I put them under the trees. So I mean, there's plenty of way to compost, of course, and to give your tree a lot of nutrition, and that keeps that chemistry in balance in the food, and then let it ripen. Even if we had to come to the grocery store every 3 days to get fresh fruit, and they had to deliver it more often, I know. I mean, we're caught between a rock and a hard place. So I don't know what all does that. To be honest with you, I can tell you that most of us deal with acidosis, and you can use your strips to show you that. And this is Go to Health. Hey man, I see you in the mirror. Could you please explain how the lymph gets back to the kidneys? Yeah, I want you to explain it to me. We were talking to you about that before, and the college professor that's an A&P professor, it's the same thing. You have to see how, and remember, I've said this on these pro charts, interesting how the kidneys are left out and the main portal ducts, the lymph ducts to the kidneys, all left out. So I don't know what to say about that. I'll have to tell you that if you work with people like we have for so many years, and you get all these beautiful people, I got a beautiful letter, testimony from a homeopath in Romania. I want to thank you, my dear, for that. I appreciate that. That's always been my knack, is to take things that are disjointed and put them together again and make it simple so we can all understand it. It's always been what I've been able to do with spirituality as well. I try, and so that's always been my goal. So I think that we have to relearn the human body in some ways, don't we? You know, sometimes what we're taught just isn't true. And remember, there's a lot of theories, and you would think at this level there would be so much theory about lymphatic drainage. Well, study your fat metabolism. You'll find the same thing. That your fats are absorbed into the venous system and then pulled back up to the inferior vena cava. Same thing. You'll find the same thing. What happens if you dump just fats, a whole lot of fats in your blood? Not too good for you diabetics. I think you call it ketosis. I mean, it's just to realize that some things we think are not appropriate. Whether that assumption was made by, I don't know. You know, how we view the effect of something is all based upon conditioned thinking. So if you're entering into the world of science with a preconditioned mind, you're in trouble already. Because you can only enter into science with a blank mind. Because then you'll see truth for what it is. When you go into science with a preconditioned mind, you lose the science part of it. And now you have a predetermined analysis. The 60 Minutes did a special on these double-blind studies. And, you know, all the medical doctors are hollering for double-blind studies. Oh, really? I would never, if I had two cancer people in front of me and you knew that you had something that could help them get rid of that out of each one of them, and you wanted to try a placebo on one, I mean, oh, that's just ridiculous thinking. In clinical work, what works is what works on humans. And interesting enough, the pharmaceutical world is much of a killing machine as this is. The ridiculousness of it, I find it, and the destruction of economies worldwide from this. I mean, this medical thing is a nightmare. And for all you medical doctors, especially you beautiful souls, get away from it. Because the medical community is going to suffer some serious blows coming. And especially when we have to defend ourselves about the herbs, we're going to expose the pharmaceuticals and the amount of deaths, and we're going to come another way with this, and it's not going to be good. So the best thing is to get into a modality that doesn't hurt people, get into a modality that's healing, that takes all this intellectualism that you were taught and pulls it and puts it all together for you in a nice little easy package, and then you'll have your clients, I've said this before, come up and give you hugs and kisses. They won't come in here and cuss you out in my office. Of course, I'm sure they cuss me out in some other offices probably. It's the way the world goes. I bought your book and would love to start the cleanse, but I am on Coumadin for a heart valve replacement in 2006. I fear this way of eating could not work well with my blood thinner. Any suggestions? This is Fire Dog, 1972. I'll tell you the truth, actually the opposite, my friend. You just, we want to think of blood as not thin or thick. That's the most important. The viscosity of the blood has to be just perfect. The pH 7.4 within certain narrow perimeters. And the only way that maintains that is to eat the foods that their chemistry is made for that. That's why I'm saying meat is not the nutritional side of life. It's what nutrition was made from. Granted, when the Homo sapien went into hostile environments, and of course, yes, we had to learn how to kill, as gross as it is. But look, I just saw this in Alaska the other day. This a girl, she was probably just 18 or 19. She killed her first moose, and she threw up doing it. She didn't want to kill it. She had to eat. But it made her nauseous and sick because she killed a living thing. And so then she had to give it blessing and everything else, which is appropriate. And that's the thing, is that someday man will work himself out of that, and that'll be okay. Then we don't have to bring all these cattle in to chop them up and eat them and stuff. We use glandulars here, so just understand that. But I'll say this, fruits, berries, and melons are perfect for the blood. They keep it perfect. They keep the viscosity perfect. They separate the blood cells and a lot of enzymes, so the blood cells separate. You don't want to move that blood's pH. The worst thing you can do with heart replacement valves and things like this is protein. By far, hands down. And if they didn't tell you that, then that's how stupid they are. You get a fine surgeon on one hand that can take an artery or even sew nerves together that you can't hardly see. Now that's incredible to see a surgeon do that. I'm amazed at some of these incredible surgeons. But health, that's not their field, so they're stupid. And you just don't do that. But then I'm stupid when it comes to surgery. First to admit it. I know how they do it. I could probably do it, but man. And that's the point, is that you have to allow those people that have had their studies, they went to school for this, you have to allow them to do that. And a lot of the medical people are giving diet recommendations. Now that's practicing naturopathy without a license, guys. And you came after us for practicing medicine without a license. That's practicing naturopathy without a license, because diet and this whole 9 yards falls under naturopathy. So I don't know what to say other than, if we all get on the same page and we all start working together, get rid of the things that don't work, and they're going to see a lot of those things, start coming together more, I tell you, be a very powerful force in this world. And it's neat to see people get better. It's neat to see a man go from a wheelchair walking. It's neat to see a lady that's MS walking. It's neat to see all these people that are in pain, not in pain anymore. It's so neat because, my God, we have to have compassion for each other. We've got to open up our hearts to everyone. I told you, I'm going to do a video on love here for you, and I just want to have the time and sit down with you and talk about the experience of love, the different sides of love, and what we call love and what love truly is on the spiritual side. It's a lot different than you think. So, Fire Dog, actually the opposite, man. You want to go fruits, berries, and melons. You don't want to throw protein in that blood. You'll vary your pH and create your blood cells attaching each other like choo-choo trains or clustering. You want to do your fruits, berries, and melons. High flavonoids. Anything high in flavonoids, vascular wall integrity, keeping the blood glucosity good. I mean, this is all good stuff. And so that's what you really want. If your blood's getting too thin, then check your Coumadin. Get that. That's the one you want to get rid of. You want to get rid of the rat poison-based stuff, as they call it, and get into true blood health. And that's what you do. You clean your liver, you clean your spleen, you clean your lymph system, and you clean all the contributing factors to dirty blood, you know, and bring in the foods that maintains proper pH. And that's going to be your fruits, your berries, your melons, and your vegetables. Those are the ones, and the Homo sapiens and the herbivores, the frugivores and even the omnivores have to deal with this. So keeping that blood viscosity and everything right is fruits, berries, and melons. Don't fear it whatsoever. That's how you keep from strokes. Matter of fact, let's say you stroke. Man, I had a guy once, triple strokes. Bam, 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 3 strokes. Bam, 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 he's done. So his medical doctor told his wife, which was a nurse, by the way, that your husband's going to have to go make funeral arrangements for him. So she called me up and she said, my husband just had triple strokes. And I'm going to have to, they want me to bury him. Can we do anything? And I said, absolutely. So I went down to the hospital and visited him. Well, he was in a kind of a coma. And his medical doctor came in, he looked at me and he said, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm a friend of the family. And so 3 months later, I had her got a feeding tube put in him, bring him home. And sure enough, she got a feeding tube in him and brought him home. 3 months later, we had him sitting up counting his ABCs. So there is just, you know, regeneration is a fact, guys. So they sent him home with cases of Ensure. Oh, and she didn't tell me that at first. And when she told me, I just went nuts. I said, because she called me, she said, he's gurgling and everything. And I said, are you giving him anything other than fruits, berries, and melons? She said, well, they sent this Ensure home. I said, ah! So thank God she didn't have long giving him that, or they would have killed him. That's how bad Ensure is. Milky, nasty, protein, fat. I mean, just that company should go down with false advertising. Right now. Look at their little commercials. It's associating a chemical drink with fresh fruits and vegetables. A little bit of a stretch. A little bit of a stretch. This world needs honesty and integrity now. It doesn't need this bullcrap lies. You know, it's just trying to sell a product. Well, if your product can't stand up on its own as being healthy and nutritious, why are you bringing all the other people that are? Dr. Morse, what would you recommend for pet animals who are having seizures? This is a good question. Excellent question, my dear. I'll tell you what, we have an antispasmodic formula. That's the number one thing that I use for seizures, convulsions, that sort of thing. Works just like Dilantin. Matter of fact, a lot of people use our antispasmodics, get off of Dilantin at the same time. They're getting their calcium utilization back in order. They're getting their lymph systems back in order, where their acidosis is coming out. They rebuild the nervous system so you don't have spastic vascular systems or nervous systems, and everybody's good. So that's what I would do with my dog. I would definitely go with an antispasmodic. At the same time, remember, dogs are the kidneys, adrenals like humans. So you're going to go a little that way, but I also do brain and nerve. I definitely would. You know, you can hit a dog like you can hit a human. So go have fun with that dog and rebuild that dog. Get him out of the seizures. You might want to work on a little thyroid, parathyroid there. A little parathyroid glandular would be really good for that dog probably. But definitely use the antispasmodic, my friend. Thanks, Health Song. I appreciate you. Thanks, honey. I'm going to try to get that out. Thanks, sweetie. I wish I could talk to you guys more, and I will as time goes on, but I'm trying to put this class together for you guys, and I think I've done one level 2 one time years and years ago, and this is a level 2. I've never done this level, but this is really getting into deeper mechanics of things and stuff, and I don't want to spend too much because we're going to do a lot of protocols. You guys really want to know how you figure up a protocol for somebody, and you know how you do that, all that. Hey, Chris, nice one, Doug. How are you? Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks, man. Let me see. This is Maureen. I'm loving. I'm turning gray while waiting for him to get to the point. Well, don't turn too gray. If you're turning gray that fast, you got a real acid problem, honey. So you better be careful with that, because that could distort your ability to see that. And I do ramble on, so I apologize for that. That's true. Is this an MD? No, thank God. Thank you, ND. I can't find info on him. You can't find it? Well, start Googling, honey. It's Google, you know. Everybody's been bitten by a tick. Isn't that the truth? I mean, that's just the way it is if you look around. But then, see, you're not a practitioner, I take it, and therefore you don't see how many people come in here with Lymes from Moose Jaw, Alaska. You know, this is the one that goes on and on and on, you know, about stuff, and it's like, excuse me, professionalism and stuff. Please, if I can keep from it, let me do that. Gives me the creeps. You know, you go up to a guy that's constipated like that. No, when you come in here, you're coming into an old country boy. Sit down, relax. Take your shoes off if you want. We're going to fix you, get your health back. But if you want that incorrect grammar a lot, I'm a daughter of an English teacher. Well, I'm a grandson of an English teacher. Not just an English teacher. She was a teacher from 1 to 12. I got my hands smacked enough. But then I'm an Indiana boy. We didn't have the best of schools, too. You know. But, again, proper English. I love that one. I've talked to English teachers throughout the years, you know, and when you come to the realization there is no proper English, maybe you'll be okay. Beauty, 10176. Indeed, my dear, indeed. I have a question. Does using a rebounder trampoline help drain the lymphatic system? Well, that's the gig. Well, I have to say, you guys, remember, this is about filtration through the kidneys. And if you're not getting filtration through your kidneys, and remember that picture with the big glass jar full of urine and that, absolutely, that's filtration. You want that first. You want to be careful, again, with the knees and the hips and everything like that, because you can rebound, you can move yourself around. This is more lactic acid. Well, that's okay, right? If what? If you're having a hard time filtering your acids out of your body and you create a lot more, you're going to feel more pain, more stiffness, more soreness, more fatigue, because your adrenals are run down as you exercise. If they're healthy, you don't even know that. So, a lot of things. So we say take it easy for a while, get your health back, and then tear it up all you want. But be careful with the trampoline. That quad you see on there is broke his neck at 16 years old on a trampoline and been down ever since. That's a sad thing, you know. Oh, here's more of the beauty. Dearest Dr. Morse, I am in need of your help, please. Absolutely. I am a 36-year-old female. My issue are as follows. In April of last year, I got a kidney infection, my first ever. Now remember, you're going to see the word kidneys repeatedly and all the symptoms related to kidneys, adrenals, which sit on top. You just start looking at the symptomology of this, and it's like shattering what you see here. So at 36, here's another one. I would expect her to have kidney problems, absolutely. Normally I would have turned to herbs, but I was going through a transition in my life, and I guess was being lazy and just went to the doctor. If you call him that, yeah. Always he put me on an antibiotic called, Macrobid. I'm not familiar with that one, to tell you the truth. There's always new ones out there, I guess. After taking this drug, I started having problems, dark circles under my eyes, face swelling, and weight. Ooh. Well, when you saw those symptoms, you knew what you were taking. So let's look at this. This is what she was experiencing after taking these antibiotics. She was facing dark circles under the eyes, face swelling and weight. Well, you knew immediately that that antibiotic hurt her kidneys and adrenals. Immediately hurt her kidneys and adrenals. That's right. These are totally kidney and adrenal signs right here. And it suppressed your lymph system, dear. And this is what antibiotics do. It suppresses lymph system. Who wants to suppress one's sewer system in their house? No, not me. You never suppress sewage. Who likes to live in a sewer dump? Nobody, because it's toxic. It's acidic. It's you see. So this poor thing, she was trying to help herself, and this is where the herbal antibiotics excel. But remember, this is all about a stagnant lymph system within the kidney itself. This is why the infection. So really want to open that door up, get lymphatic form to start cleaning that kidney out, because that kidney is also not only filtering itself, it's filtering the rest of the body. And if you ever have a chance to get blood work, dear, check your creatinine in your blood and see what that is. Look at here, she had weight gain, she had depression, ringworm. In fact, I have only left my house a handful of times in the last year since taking it. Wow! Holy crap! Pharmaceuticals scare me to death. I have to tell you guys, I just can't imagine why we as a civilized world will allow these guys to keep making these products and the FDA keep approving them, knowing that 2 or 3 or 4% gets killed, another 5% has strokes and heart attacks. Pretty soon you're up to 20% of the people that take the drug have serious side effects. And you've got 1 million, say easy 1 million people, if not 100 million people on a drug. So what's 20% of 100 million? It's just numbers that are unfathomable. But it keeps money going. What? It's breaking everybody. It's only putting money in one pocket. The medical people, only one pocket, and the pharmaceuticals, of course. And I just think at this particular time when you see things crashing, and the negative forces are chomping, we need to build the spiritual side and send the dogs back home, so to speak. So, absolutely, sweetheart. All right. Prior to taking this, I was quite well. I have always taken herbs and think I was fairly healthy, although after watching your videos, I see that my adrenals were running even low, even before the drugs. And I think that's why you saw the hit, sweetheart. I think you saw the hit right where your weaknesses were. And that would make sense. You're not going to you can give people even, God, forgive me, but chemo. And if you come in here with really strong fibers, strong genes, they can come out alive and live a little longer. But as a rule, most people die from it. And you just can't do these things. And especially where your weaknesses are. I have only taken antibiotics a handful of times in my life, and I take birth control, and such a please that this drug affected me so bad. Bad drug. Bad drug. Well, you know what? Bad drugs is too late. That's what I like about herbs. The worst thing with herbs, make you throw up. I mean, come on. You know, I mean, the real strong ones can cause liver enzymes to go up if you're sucking down some of the strongest herbs on the planet. But that's only when you have liver problems, because it's pulling that problem out of the liver. So they work so much differently that I just can't imagine in today's society. So we're going to have to get there. And pharmaceutical companies got to know that their time's coming. You can't create bad karma under the facade that we're helping those few to stay alive. It's okay to kill and hurt all these people, because those few people that we're keeping alive a little longer and that we're helping with them, I mean, we don't know of anything else, and there's nothing else. We got to quit buying into that crap and quit buying in, and our legislators have got to quit buying into this crap. That's why we're stuck with Obamacare right now, buying into this crap. And look at Europe. These poor countries, these kids have no work. I mean, it's just vomitous. So you're going to see the need for a whole change on this planet. And you guys are a big, huge part of that change. That's why I just love you all, and we need to work as a team. And you guys are going to, I said this before, you're going to do a lot better work than me. I'm an old farm boy. I like to stay myself. I'm a recluse a lot of times. I'm a God man. I don't care about anything else. Getting healthy is simple. I mean, once you get it, you get it. You got it. Now it's just a process. You have to work with your own preconditioned thinking, your own propaganda that you've accepted, the way your mind's been bent by all the factors on the planet, and get yourself free. And I'm trying to give you all the little clues to give yourself freedom and get your joy back. And your joy comes back when you no longer have anything over your head. And when you no longer have anything over your head, that means you've reached a point of detachment. You don't care anymore. You've had it. And generally it takes you to that point to where it just rips you apart and finally you just let go. I'm done. Well, that's all it took in the first place. That's all it took in the first place. But there's no one helping us with those sort of simple things like that and helping us grow spiritually. So we help each other, don't we? Now, let me see. Take a breath. I need my life back, please. I have a beautiful 12-year-old son. That's cool. I need his mother to go out and do things. Absolutely, Robin. Now listen, Robin. Get yourself on 2 kidney formulas. Do kidney number 1 capsules and do kidney number 2. That's what I'd be doing. I'd also do my lymphatic 1 capsules, and I would do lymphatic 4 at first. Really start moving on that lymph system. Lymphatic 4 has a lot of astringents in there. At the same time, I would do brain and nerve. Your adrenals are down, no question. And that low, I'd probably do papaglandular, honey. I would do probably the adrenal glandulars. Probably at least get to 200s and do 1 3 times a day. If your blood pressure is real low, then you might want to do 2. That's 400 milligrams 3 times a day. If you're running a little depression, remember that's parathyroid. You might want to run that little parathyroid formula for 1 bottle. Take a little kelp supplement with that, just to see, and you get all that calcium and iodine with that, and it's in the proper ratios, bonded properly. And so with that and with the glandular, you're going to give yourself the parathyroid hormone to help utilize all the calcium in the kelp and in your other foods, and that should help you with the depression. Same thing, I'd probably take like paracetamol or something, because obviously the antibiotic increased your fungal problems, which they always do. You kill bacteria, your fungus goes up. It's that sort of thing. And really, you're going to have fungus because of the adrenals, first and foremost, and then secondary to antibiotics. So do those things and work yourself out of that. And that's how I would do that. Do fruits, berries, and melons all day long. Do your salad at night. Do your salad at night. And you'll be fine, sweetheart. You'll be fine. You're 36 years old. Get your body healthy now. Get yourself a picture of your eyes. Matter of fact, Drew and poor Chris had a big water spill in their house. Their washing machine blew. And so I couldn't record last week because they had to deal with this. And so I'm running late on recording this. And so Drew and I were going to go over your eyes. So I won't be able to go over these eyes now till Friday now. Maybe Thursday morning. Hair losing and alkaline diet questions. Okay, this is it's Crow Step. I'm Yire, 26-year-old from Spain. Ooh, Spain got some awful good fruit I hear in Spain. I hear Spain's oranges are to die for. I gotta try some of those Spaniard oranges. I'm looking at your videos all weeks. It's interesting, but my English is basic. That's okay. My English is basic too. As that one lady pointed out, I have basic English. At least I can speak. I have an important question for me. If you can write me, it will be good for me and my family. I'm losing all my hair, and I need to know if I can retrieve the original status of 10 years ago. I want to try alkaline diet, and I know that if I drink your all tea, Heal All Tea product, I can recover the original color. I'm confused. Will be good for me if you could respond me. Thanks. Yeah. His name is it's Crow Step. Okay, my friend, look. Let's go back again. Look at the video. We talked about balding and things because, again, this is about acids up here. And that's what you don't want. Because balding is the first sign dementia and Alzheimer's are coming down the road. And so you want to stop that train. Absolutely. And vision and sense of hearing and taste and just the poor young man in here today, and a poor guy starting to lose his memory from that. And you see his hair receding and things like this. If you have dandruff, that's bad. I mean, this is all signs that your lymph system's backed up in the head area. So you want to definitely use upper circulation. That is my blue ribbon formula for getting hair growth. But on top of this, you want to focus on why you're having that, why you're losing hair, and go right back down to the kidneys and adrenals, get your lymph system, clean up your bowels, clean up this GI tract like we talk about on the videos, and then you'll be successful. Get your body cleaned out and strengthen it back up. Get blood flowing up in that hair again with upper circulation, and you'll get your hair all back and everything's good. And you'll keep your memory, and you'll remember where you parked the car. This is Michael. Got a question. I'm trying to get extremely healthy, although I don't have much money for it. Anyway, all the money is spent on the food, and I'm fine with that. Well, yeah, I know. I mean, it shouldn't be that way. But I know that, Jesus, sometimes, you know. And Chris, by the way, is setting up a, one of you guys had mentioned this, and Chris is setting up a, some kind of PayPal place for you to donate. But we did get a nice donation the other day from someone, was very nice, $700. And that's going to help several people get going down the road a little bit. And I got this one guy, he's standing from a wheelchair, spinal paralysis. He's waking everybody's up again. So everything's coming alive on him again. And he'll be walking within the next couple of months. I know he will be, I mean, really walking. He's doing good now, unbelievable good. Physical therapy, it's just amazing. So I'm real proud of this guy. When you do that, whew, you got me behind you 200%. When I see you're going after this and you're going after your health, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you because I don't want you seeing your chair either. I'm a God man. I don't see any suffering down here. So we're going to take care of this. We're going to help you. So that's what this is for. Anybody that's going after their things, we're going to help as much as we can, still stay in business, you know. But food is key, number one, no question. Don't just do herbs and think that's the magic. Your diet is a magic too, and just as magical. Question is, how do I collide the teachings of Dr. Morse with myself being ectomorphic? Well, good question. I already have a lot of knowledge, and it's the carbs and veggies that should be my, not protein, but I have to eat it. Not saying it's only from my meat. My ectomorphology is intense, unhealthy. What do you suggest in these cases? Interesting. I don't know, you know, I don't know. I don't know what's above self-discipline, you know, when you can't do that, I don't know. I don't know. I have to, you give me something to ponder on and think. Only thing I can say is that it's like any other case that we have. You're a big part of the case. That's the trouble here. And that's why you see me, you know, so adamant about balding and things like this and dementia and Alzheimer's and things like this. There's all kinds of weird levels and mentally and emotionally you can get into. And I think that, you know, you have to be able to be present and deal with this. And I think this, I'll try to come up with a better answer than that. I'll be honest with you. Because all I can tell you is that no matter what, you got to push beyond the proteins and stuff like this because this is part of man's problem, not part of his remedy. He's already had that. To go back to the way one was and think there's remedy there is where it's just insanity. It's delusional. Our remedy comes with things we haven't been doing, and that's obvious because if you look at the mainstream, people are doing all this stuff, even in the natural health field. There are the natural hygiene. It's been around for 100 years. There are all these cases. But as you notice, this is the highest you can step on. If you've done all your studies and you did all your books, then you know you're stepping on the highest path there is. So take the step. And I don't know what to tell you. You got to always be present. It's your world. Rohan. Hey, man. You good looking man, you. What do you want? I hear you're kicking butt there in New Zealand, man. I know I owe you an email about the Heal All Tea. Oh, yeah, I need to work with you about that Heal All Tea. I've been thinking about that, Rohan. I don't know what to tell you with that. I'm gonna give you the rights to do that. What you have, I spent a year traveling between Australia, America, and Europe. My clients come. Yeah, I'm going to work. I'm going to work with you. Let me get with Jennifer. Figure that. I love that one. I showed you this one from David Icke or Icke. If you think I mention reptilians, just read his books. Again, I want to thank Lisa, Gavin, Jesse, and Eli. Thank you. Yeah, let's see here. Oh, I can find all kinds of goodies if I just look through all this paperwork. Where'd this come from? Huh. Well, I'll find some of the stuff I have missing here. All right, this is FDSELG. I am raw since over. And I love your thing. I thought you would be more female, man, because you just have that logo of angelicness. And so it's just beautiful. Generally, that's more female. So I got to see who you are right here, didn't I? Yeah, I'm raw since over 2 years. My wife eats cooked food. Yeah. Been there, done it, and still doing it. Whether you call them wives, significant others, girlfriends. We recently did a live blood analysis, and my blood cells, my daughters, were all sticking together, yeah, or following each other like choo-choo trains, absolutely. And my wife's blood cells were free and single, following each other. Isn't that disgusting? And I know. When I read this, I thought, yeah, I know. That's just how it is sometimes. And and the health people, again, suffering to get well. But I tell you what, man, I wouldn't even worry about the live blood cell analysis. I just tear into the raw, check your proteins, because you could be doing a fairly good job raw, and just the little proteins you're doing is creating this in you, as opposed to her. And I wouldn't worry about that sort of thing. Keep going with the raw, man. There's cooked foods and things will catch up with her someday. That's the sad thing. So the raw is important. We can have cooked foods in one's diet, but you've got to have a lot of fresh raw foods too. I mean, you can't ignore the fact that cooking kills and destroys your food, augments the chemistry, dissipates the magnetics, blah 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 blah. So it's a given, but have 80% of your diet living, and then 20% dead if you want. But keep that ratio on the living side plus, because it will have the effect with you someday, my friend. And I wouldn't give it a thought. What is that? Is that the genetics probably? She might have better adrenal glands than you do, better kidneys, so you're not filtering, backing to the blood. You could have spleen problems, backing to the blood, a liver, more hepatic problems than she does, absolutely. And good point, good take, absolutely. So you get your liver, you clean your spleen, you clean your kidneys, you clean your adrenals, get your adrenals up. And then your blood they'll do. I had a guy with me years ago who did a lot of live blood cell analysis. I never wasted my time. I got too much more going on. And, some things we already know. Okay, let's go. Chevy chasing the Grand Canyon. Seen it, been there, done it. All right. It's some things are just old hash stuff. And live blood cell analysis is one of them to me. It's where you're going and where we can take you that's important. And we know where you're at. Thanks, though, for the comment on the video, my friend. Thank you so much. Can you please speak about what is the best diet food to eat once you decided you... This is a good question I thought he brought up here. What is the best diet once you decide you are done in detox? 100% raw fruits. If man is ever done with detox, yeah, good question. Thank you so much. Would be a holistic cooked food diet combining. I think you're pretty close. I really think a good 70-80% realistically. 70% probably more realistic on raw. I say this, always get in the habit of making your breakfast fruits. Always. Because look, you wake up in the morning, what's the one system that's been quieter all night long? Blood has to keep going, but what system is sluggish through the night? Lymph system. So when people wake up, they got mucus in their eyes, their tongues are coated. That's when you need a flush. That's when you need the flush. And that's the fruits, berries, and melons. Breakfast should always be a big bowl of fruits, berries, and melons, or a big bunch of watermelon or smoothies, whatever you want. But remember the juicy fruits as opposed to the bananas too. Don't overdo the bananas. Do more juicy fruits too, especially in keeping your body halfway clean. I would do one of two ways. Make lunch a big salad meal, and then have a little cooked at night. It's always better to eat light at night, though. I used to live by fruits in the morning, salad at lunch, and fruit at night. I thought for detoxification purposes, however, it'd be better to do fruits and berries and melons like you're running down the road, and then stop and take a breather, and then run again. You'll get more done than stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. That sort of thing. So I like green drinks. I think people should pump green drinks or a superfood blend. But don't blame nutrition on everything. You just can't do that. You've got to look at a system much bigger that's causing all the inflammation, all the pain, all the necroticism, all the breakdown, all of this. There's one other system, and that's the one you got to focus on. So in one way, you're right. You're really never done with detoxification, but I've gone years without doing it, just because I got so intense. And then someone said, oh, look, you can have out-of-body travels and journey into the heavens of God. And then it's like, oh, yeah? Oh, So I learned balance was important to keep me here, balance. And I often think that. But there's times you'll see I'll go 100% raw for a while, then I'll back down. We got all our clients do the same thing. Some of them go right into a major raw, and they stay raw, and then they go off and go totally the other way, eating pies this big. And they go totally raw meat, raw pie, everything nasty the other way. Then they swing back again to the all raw again. You got all levels of that. I think if you can keep yourself balanced, I don't like that radical swing. I don't think your cells do either. So I think finding a nice balance with that, pumping some green drinks maybe, definitely a superfood blend, especially one with a lot of alfalfa juice and your royal jellies and the stuff, ours is pretty good, but still, there's a lot of good ones out there. I don't put digestive enzymes or probiotics, any crap like that, nor do I use palm scum, sorry. You can say what you want about palm scum all day long, I don't care. I just don't consider it a viable food for man. If you want to eat it, go ahead. It's free. A lot of ponds out there are stagnant right now. Scary Witch 13. So wait, what did this lady do exactly that messed her teeth up? Did she eat too much acid fruit? No, this is actually, I remember the video you're talking about here. No. I mean, you got to realize what's underneath. And you have to understand a lifetime of eating acidic foods creates acid saliva. That's what you see with me. My tea habits and stuff like that were more powerful than my berry habits. And so I became more acidic in my mouth. And I've always felt lymph in my head, always because of the milk drinking growing up. That was horrible. And, as detox as I've been, I could keep going deeper and deeper and deeper too. It's just one of those things. But she already had lost a lot of bone and enamel, stuff like that, And you have to be careful with these acid fruits like pineapples and stuff who shouldn't be that way. A ripe pineapple off a plant is just like a great organic orange picked ripe. It's nectar of the friggin' gods. It's alkaline, but we're eating food, so we can't judge it. To dislabor fruits is bad because someone's eating unripe fruits and letting it ferment before they eat them and stuff like that. I mean, you just have to look at all of this and get some common sense about ourselves. And fruit is the staple food of man. Fruits, berries, and melons, and you'll find that no matter where you go. That's your diet. And if you have some vegetables, you'll find that the more fruits and berries and melon you eat, it's hard to go down to the vegetables. Vegetables are coarse and hard to digest. And you'll be sitting there, and some days I'll be eating my salad for lunch. I go, I just don't want this anymore. Because it's so much chewing. It's just so much. Notice how these herbivores have those grinders, and they grind and they grind. I used to watch our horses grind and the cows, they grind all the time. She needs to detox. Oh, but you bring up a good point here there, Scary Witch 13. I like your number. 13's always been my lucky day. But, and that would be the, that would be detoxification. Detoxification too. That's a whole breed of another color. Remember I told you about the lady that had the loose teeth and all the abscesses in the mouth from Detox? Common. So you can't judge things like that. I think this person just didn't know what's up. And just wasn't balanced or something with that. I don't know what her problem was. You'd have to ask Jennifer. You know, some people that write in and say things like this, they have a history of things. So I don't know. It's enough to say that it's tough out there on a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys are more advanced than you realize. A lot of people that we have to deal with don't realize how much problems they have. Yeah, a guy in the other day, and they're talking to him and put him up on the iris camera. It's like, oh, you never told me about your knee. Oh, I forgot to tell you about that. Oh, what about your hip? Oh, I forgot to tell you about that. And what about this? What about that? Pretty soon he realized he wasn't in the shape he thought he was in. And that's the point. That's why I love the iris work. Boy, you always want to get into that. I am a little confused. If they test the pH of foods by measuring the ash of it, does that mean well, you can measure before and after digestion. A lot of the old guys measured the ash or the digestive material after to see if that left a more acid or base balance. And that was considered more appropriate looking at a food, whether it was an acid-forming food or an alkaline-forming food, because of the ash after the digestive process. What was the predominant ash? Was it electrolytes? Was it more amino acids? Things like that. Because the more amino acids left in an ash is going to yield you more of an acidic ash. And that's just the whole idea of looking at that. And some people measure the raw food and juices. Stick your pH paper in the juices. You can measure that as well. You probably can say that more when you have an alkaline food, your ash is probably going to be alkaline. But I'm sure there's, I had chemistry back when I was 22 and 3, guys. So, I mean, and then you don't have everything. It's not my life's work. So, I don't know. Can be less from raw foods and know that it's more base. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, let's remember something about living foods. It isn't just about chemistry. And this is something we're going to touch on at the class, is this physical world is more of a chemical world, still ran by magnetics. But as you get out of this world, you'll find that energy rules as opposed to chemistry. And the more closer to the allness, to the Godhead there is, you even lose that side of it. It's hard to explain, but you're moving into extreme consciousness. I can't begin to tell you my experience of it. I mean, what we call God, a lot of people have no clue. And it just, some of us have created little places that we have for our own, keeping that massive allness to some individualization. It's hard to explain to you. There's so many levels. I've showed you guys the map of the lower worlds, but there's also a map of the higher worlds I haven't even told you guys about. Oh yeah, it's deep. The God worlds are deep. Amazing, amazing, beautiful. And here we have a few people fighting over proper grammar or proper etiquette or who knows. Always arguing over something. Amazing. That's an honest question. No, I think this is a good question, actually. I think this is true. Some of the older people, like especially, I was thinking, especially in the natural hygienic movement, you had a lot of the older people, like, I was trying to remember some of them, which taught a lot about it, looked a lot about the ash. There's a lot of chemistry. I don't know with Carrington, how much work he did with that. I think Carrington maybe been more of a fruitarian thinker, but then you had, Dr. Graham, you had Tilden. Dr. Tilden, now I think he talked a lot about the ash. This is something you have to go back and read some of the old books and stuff that they've done. I have some great books here. Composition and Facts About Foods. That's a real good book. Hard to get anymore. You have to go to the Health Research. Health Research. I love those guys. They've been around for so many years, and they're due their respect. They have all the old books you can't get anywhere. And that place should be up there. great way. But get some of these old books. I bring them to the class all the time and read about the old guys and how it'll bring in a better understanding, because right now we have very limited books being written on higher truths, if you notice. Beavers and ducks. You're not on that show, are you, by any chance? What's up, Doc? Hey, my friend. This is a 5-foot, 50-year-old Carol. 5 foot. So what's the first thing I can think about 5 foot, Carol? Pituitary, a.k.a. beavers and ducks. Of all the problems that you read about on YouTube, losing one's teeth is the scariest. And you can say that again. I've got these out right now. And I've got implants. That's why I talk a little funny. But, you know, I've fought them all my life. My dentist years ago used to take out all the tooth and put in these big round metal things. What they used to call them? Amalgam fillings. You know, I mean, my dentist literally ruined my mouth with me on top ruining it. But I didn't realize dairy products and congesting my sinuses. I didn't realize it was taking my sinus bone out. It was I wasn't moving my lymphs well. So that is the scariest. And that's why I say 2 things. Make sure your parathyroid is up there, and make sure your lymph is moving, because those are the 2 things. You'll lose your teeth. You'll lose the calcium in it. The body will steal it using it. And then, especially with the parathyroid weakness. And then, of course, acidosis. That's the one thing. Acidosis. You can always go to acidosis. Not alkalosis. Go to acidosis, and you'll find why we have no teeth. I know it is the scariest. What weaknesses would cause teeth to fall out? And this is going right back to the lymph system, the kidneys and adrenals, believe it or not. They control this gigantic sewer system in the human body. And it's head to toe. The problem is now, it ain't just the teeth going to go. Oh, I said, hey, oh, sorry, Granny. Don't hit me. But it's not just the teeth. By the time you see your teeth having trouble, it's all up here too. That's the scary part. It's all through you. This is a systemic problem. Man's problem isn't local, it's systemic. Period. End of story. You know, when your kidneys are down, you're having problems the top of your head to your little toe. And that's the scary part of this, Carol. And look at you, you're 5 foot. And so you already have things going on up here. There's a pituitary issue here. Now, that could be a genetic weakness, but whenever you see pituitary, always go to the transverse colon. I tried to show you that on the iris analysis, and I'll tell you, I see it every time. And Dr. Jensen was being hooked into that big time as well, this transverse colon relationship to the pituitary. And so you're going to find that, Carol, I can tell you right off. And what would I do if I discovered my teeth are becoming loose? Move your lymph system. Move your lymph system aggressively. Check your pH of your mouth and keep it alkaline. Keep it alkaline. And at the same time, you can wash your mouth out with Heal All Tea. That'll clean and lock those gums back down on those teeth. But you got to worry about inside the tooth, and you got to worry about the roots, and you got to worry about the gums, and you got to worry about the bone that those roots are dug into. This is all about acidosis in the lymph system. So you got to clean it. If you want to keep your teeth, got to move your lymph. And I have failed to move my lymph as deep as I would like. So I'm waving the flag. Don't be like me. And I'm sure a lot of the greats can do the same thing. Jensen, poor guy, don't be like me. Died at 93. Not a happy man. Not a happy man at all. I believe I will never meet anyone as great. Oh. Thank you, Carol. I love you, sweetheart. You know, I'm just trying to help everybody. Hopefully people don't get too mad at me. Ooh, I wanted to show her this one. Huh. I'm finding all my stuff. I mean, it's maddening around here, guys. Hello, Robert. Hello, Mark and Tasha. Hi, guys. How are you guys today? You guys are some good people up there. All right, you mentioned protein in relation to pain and inflammation. Absolutely. I was curious if you could explain on whether it is strictly animal protein to be avoided and contributes to pain and inflammation, or should a person also avoid almonds, hemp seeds, all protein. All protein. I told you the story of the medical doctor, and this was just nuts. That was Giuliano's meatloaf dish. And if you look at Giuliano's book and look up the meatloaf dish, you'll see what it is. It's just, I think it's just, you've got nuts, and you got some veggies, and so the nuts, and that brought him down on his knees, boy, and I'll tell you, and I knew it would. I've just seen this over and over and over again. So it, to me, any protein, especially when you're in a lot of pain, and you get yourself alkaline, you'll see as you start filtering, you watch your urine, you start filtering, you'll see that pain coming down, correlating that, and you see that coming down, then just go have your protein meal. Let me show you another side of the coin. So I would stay away from all of them until I got all that done. But then that proposes a question. If protein makes your body hurt like that when you're in pain, why would you eat it even in a healthy state? That would be my thinking. This is Thierry. Hi to Dr. Morse and all the crew. Well, hi to you. I have a question about colonics. Can we do it at home with a colonic board? Yeah. I think you can still get Jensen's Kalima boards out there. My sister has one. We used to sell them in the office here. We don't do it anymore. And a big bucket of water. Yeah, well, you want to fill that water with some, implant at least some chlorophyll up there. Oh, yeah. Put some goodies in there. And, if you're going to implant something or implant some Hill tea or something like that, if you're going to use a Kalima board. But I'll be honest with you, I think my own self, I've watched this for a lot of years. I've had colonics. And myself, I really believe that the herbs and the foods do a better job. They do a more thorough job. And I want you to keep in mind that a lot of the problems in the GI tract is in the wall. In the wall. You can't get there from a colonic. You can only get there lymphatically. That's the problem. Or with some heavy-duty astringents. That's why you see the GI broom. The GI broom, I made that to pull because we have not only the mucoid plaque to clean off the wall. That's pretty easily done, to be honest with you. That's not a difficult thing to do in life. Raw foods do that pretty well. A few good herbs takes that baby right off, cleans that baby. How about in the wall? Do we have to go back through the lymph nodes and kidneys that are not filtering? Oh, my God. Well, how can we pull any? And I think the proof of that is the tremendous amount of mucus that you see coming out of your stools when you detoxify. That tells me that there is some expectoration from the wall itself, from the inside out, interstitial out. There is some dumping. It would suggest to me that, and that would be very, very important. That you work in both of those ways. I like the herbal and the food, all that work better on the bowels. It's timely, it's balanced. I'll say if you have an obstruction, by all means. Do 2 or 3 colonics. No offense to the colonic therapists out there, but too much is too much. And when you're starting to do 10 colonics on someone, it's too much. And they have 22 foot of what other bowel you can't get. Exactly. And your colon's only 5 foot. Most of the problems are in the wall, guys. So address that along with cleaning up the bowels and everything. I would go down this way. If you're having colorectal problems, insert. But you don't have to insert very far because you're right there. So thanks for the question. Sometimes we don't have to go to that extent. I will say this, I thought every hospital should have a colon therapist in the ER, and everybody that enters that ER gets a nice little bowel cleaning. And then, start from the top. Hey, Matt. I want to make this short for you so you might be able to give me some idea on where to start. I have been having shortness of breath and digestion problems for around 4 years. See, Matt, I don't like that. Okay, that's right off. All right, so when you see shortness of breath, you've been subjected to neurotoxicity of some sort, or your adrenals are crashing. When your adrenals are crashing, that's your neurotransmitters, epinephrine, norepinephrine, dopamine, and acetylcholine. Those are more for elimination. I'd be looking more at epinephrine and norepinephrine, your adrenalins. And so definitely you're going to see your kidney problem here, right in your face and your adrenal problems. With that said, neurotoxicity is everywhere, my friend, and got to watch yourself. Pesticides and herbicides are neurotoxic, and too many neurotoxins, and you just can't breathe, and you'll struggle to take a deep breath. And so you want to detoxify that body out. I would use brain and nerve number 2 at the same time. Get the adrenal glandulars so you can pump up that adrenal gland and get your body to make your own neurotransmitters and get up. If you're still eating meat, wean yourself off while you're still getting those adrenals. Glandulars, because that's where you're getting it. See, and I've said this before, you got to realize meat eating comes with its high risks. And the high risk of meat eating is the hormones and steroids and neurotransmitters that are in the meat from the animal. And in a kill case, I mean, look at fish. You see how a fish fights? Can you imagine the epinephrine in that fish? Yeah, wow, this is good. Yeah, meat feels strong. Yeah, wrong kind of meat feels strong. Wrong kind. The same thing as taking steroids, and that's why I think we have literally neural burnout, because we have adrenal burnout from consuming too much meat, too many neurotransmitters from dead animals, and that's where you're running. You ain't getting energy from dead necrotic tissue. It's from neurotransmitters, and you're just seeing what we're facing in today's world here. And this is I hate this, Matt. You don't want to. That's horrible, and pretty severe. So again, now. You're gonna, I don't know, if you've been off of meat for a long time, I don't know what to tell you. You might have to, I don't like to replace neurotransmitters with neurotransmitters, because that just leads you down the same road. But if you get real bad, you might have to eat a piece of fish once in a while to keep up neurotransmitters. I mean, I just have to tell you, as healers, sometimes you're going to go to certain ways to breathe. And I can only tell you that I've been where Matt was when I poisoned myself with quinine, and it isn't funny. When you suddenly can't breathe, unless you constantly remember to take a breath. And then you realize how autonomic automatic is. And how nice that is. Because when you're struggling to breathe, it isn't funny. Especially to take a deep breath. It breeds anxieties. I mean, this is a long list of things. And it all goes back to the adrenals and the nervous systems again. Also, clean out your stomach, man. Because this is a nerve ganglia of the parasympathetic and sympathetic. Clean up your gut. Get your GI tract cleaned up. Get your kidneys filtering. Because heavy acidosis in the stomach can lead to this. And you could get some serious stomach problems. You might already have serious stomach problems. Can lead to gastroparesis. In other words, you start paralyzing the nervous system. Can't breathe, things like this. Now, he's also, I'm now starting to get clear and dark floaters in my right eye. Well, again, you're backed up lymphatically all the way in your head. Get that eye wash and start washing your eyes out morning and night. Now, what that does is stimulate blood and lymph flow, and it'll clean the mucus out. You might wake up with a lot of matted eyes. And you might want to take it internally. But internally, what's going on isn't what you want to know. Again, this is acidosis and what it's doing to your tissues. Well, mucus is the body's effect, or shall we say, response to acidosis. And you're seeing mucus in your eyes, mucus floaters, and of course, cholesterol is part of that mucus. I thought a few years back I might have some kind of candida infection from all the antibiotic and steroids. Oh, well, you just gave your thing away, man. You've been on years of steroids. I mean, did they not tell you what this would come to this? I mean, I saw Jerry Lewis here a couple of years ago getting an award. He could hardly breathe. Been on steroids all his life. Guess what gland he's shutting down? The adrenals. You want to shut down an endocrine gland, be my guest. But I think that's a crime. And because you're putting the patient or the client or the individual in serious jeopardy, and that's what's happened to you, man. I can tell you right now. So what this tells me right off, you have major lymphatic problems, floaters in the eyes. Why would you be on antibiotics if you didn't have lymphatic problems? And two, the steroids. That shows a lot of inflammation and stuff. That again, going back, they wrecked your adrenals. They've wrecked your adrenals, so you're going to have to really go after your adrenals. I'd get the pure adrenals from New Zealand, and I would get the 400s. And I'd start out with 1-3 times a day, and you might have to go up from there because they pretty much crashed your adrenals while you're struggling to breathe. That's neurotransmitters. Even though they gave you the steroids, crashed the whole adrenals, obviously. He's only a 26-year-old man here, girls. Excuse me. And I'm really needing to find the right path. Well, that's the only path you do. You have to look at what you were taking and know what it did to you. You got to go now and rebuild those adrenal glands. And you know immediately why you were taking them is lymphatic. The floaters and everything else shows that. So that brain and nerve, really important, obviously. Get those adrenals. Get the kidneys filtering again. This is all coming down on you, man. But you'll get that all cleaned up, and you'll be good. but go after those kidneys, go after your adrenals. Just as we laid it out, use those detox protocols. I'm giving them to you. So giving those detox protocols and get your butt moving and get those adrenals built up there, and you'll get your breathing back, man. And you can stay raw doing it. And now I see why. Steroids. Add steroid use to meat eating for some people, not saying you, man, but add that to some people, and they super crash their adrenals. It's a wonder people get back or keep their sanity or happiness. So yeah, I can see where you're hurting, man. Hit your adrenals hard. Take the brain and nerve too. I think you'll like that one. I gotta go in a minute. Thank you so much. This is Sophie G. Thank you, Sophie G. Appreciate it. Good day to you too. Does adrenal fatigue cause collagen loss? In a roundabout way, absolutely. Acidosis, sonny. Acidosis. And what are the symptoms of collagen depletion? I am a 43-year-old woman. I have looked younger than my age all my life until I hit 39 to 40. That magic year of 39 to 40. It started with muscle loss, and now, even though I am thin, I look like my body is all safe. Well, because you're malabsorbed. I can tell you right off where your case is. You're malabsorbed, sweetheart, and you lost your absorption, or at least a lot of your absorption. So all you're seeing is fat. That's what you're seeing. You're losing your muscle tissue and everything else because you're just not absorbing well. With that said, are you utilizing your chemistry well? And that's going to go back to the adrenals here. So you want to do the same thing. You really want to just clean out that body, get into the gut, clean up the gut so you can get good absorption, get your adrenals up so you got good chemistry utilization, and everything else. Get everything up and on. You know, get on the raw diet, get on the fruits and vegetables, get on the fruits, berries, and melons predominantly, and really start cleaning yourself up. If you want to pump some superfood blends, okay, but you really need to clean yourself out. She's getting saggy and wrinkles. Now, here's the problem, sweetheart. Check your thyroid, parathyroid gland, because if you're getting wrinkles, it's possible that you're so acidic the calcium's being sucked out of you, and you can't put it back. Check to see if you're depressed. Check to see how your fingernails are. Check to see if you have spider veins or varicose veins, hemorrhoids, wrinkle skin, as you're saying. Good sign that you're losing connective tissue. That's acidosis. I mean, that's why. It's not something mysterious. It's your body, it's your adrenals. And after all these years, you know, things go down. And especially in today's world, they're going down. They're already down. So when in a genetic stance, you're in the age group that already has kidney and adrenals. Not as bad as the younger ones, but still you're in that age group. And then with a typical diet in America or wherever you're from on this planet, except in the islands, you're going to go down. And that's what's happening. Your kidneys and adrenals are going down. Your digestion is off, or your absorption anyway. And it sounds like your parathyroid, you're starting to wrinkle. Well, next thing comes osteoporosis, scoliosis, things like that. You know, prolapsing, hanging, sagging. No, you're going down with acidosis, and you can stop that and bring in all that refreshing alkaline. Start cleaning. No matter what you see at first, you got to start cleaning. Get those kidneys opened up. Get the bowels cleaning out. Get the interstitial fluids moving again, lymphatically speaking. And you're going to pull yourself out of this. You know, check your thyroid basal temperatures. But here I can see parathyroid. And you don't want to get calcifications and everything built up in the body, because that's coming. And here's another one. She has multiple floaters in the eye. Same thing as Matt here. So a lot of mucus in the body. That's lymphatics, of course, unless it's the wrong kind of floaters. And you don't want those kind of detached retinas and things like this. You do not want the eye to start disintegrating and falling apart. What side of chemistry would cause that? Every time I start on the fruit detox, I start losing worse. And that's the trouble. That's the trouble you're going to get into. There's no question about this. And guys, for you YouTubers and for you Facebook people, here's your tough case here. Here's a lady that when she tries to detox, she looks worse. Of course you're going to look worse. No question about it. You're going to have to go hide in a cave for a while, sweetheart, and go after it. Now, you could do the opposite. I panic and stop the detox. You could spend a little time straddling that fence of trying to halfway build and trying to halfway detox. Go ahead and do the GI brooms and the bowels and the lymphs and everything else, but maybe instead of doing all fruit, go to fruit in the morning and then do salads and greens the rest of the day. More green drinks than anything, and see if that will get you better a little while first before you tear a little deeper. You could do that. You know, find that balance there to kind of try to halfway build, but I'm telling you, it's generally no cigar there. You know, trying to rebuild in a highly acidic medium that you're losing absorption and everything else. Hard to start looking pretty until you deal with that. And to deal with that, then you see what you have to go through. So, you know, magic as it is, and as beautiful as it is, some people got some serious things to work through. And all I have to say is, being thin doesn't kill you, but especially when you're bringing in the nutrition, but sometimes you don't look too pretty. I have to tell you, some of my clients that sometimes don't look too pretty, but in the end, they all look beautiful. And that's the point. Focus on your goal, where you're going, and the journey it takes to that goal. And be comfortable with that, because that's all you can work on is, are you comfortable with our teachings? If you're not, then we don't want you to stay around. We want you to be comfortable where you are. Everybody has steps that they can take, and everyone out there is a step. Somewhere there's always a step for somebody. Okay. But if you want to step on the highest rocket ship to the Godhead and to the Wellville, this is the only one I know of. I mean, there's a lot of rocket ships into the Godhead, so to speak. At least to places toward there. But I can just say that I understand where you are totally. Understand that. Why don't you try straddling fence a little bit? Not so much fruits, more veggies, more greens, green juices, lots of alfalfa juice. See if you can clean and get absorption, get the adrenals up. At the same time, kind of straddle that and see if we can do that and see how well you do with that. And then let me know, because the emotional part gets too overwhelming. I understand that. And pick up the adrenals and try to straddle that and balance that fence, sweetheart. And this is Emily's mom. And see how well you do with that, sweetheart, because I understand where you are, but you've got to get yourself, stop where you're going and turn this around, and you'll be okay. And I have to go. Oh, this is one I thought was really good. You guys got some good questions, and I like that. This is Joshua. Dr. Morse, I am curious about removing extra scar tissue in the body. This is an excellent question. Particularly around old injuries like the spinal cord. Absolutely. I am a C5, C6 quad. I had a C3, C4 quad, man, and she was a complete spinal cord separation, plated up, major scar tissue. I got not only new vascular pathways, which is very easy, I got new neural pathways. She was down 12 years. I reconnected her head to toe. I'll put her on the video sometime to show you her case. But you can get her case and Roger's together on a video. I think we sell it for $10, $12, whatever it costs us to run it, just to show you an interview with her and where we got her before we couldn't work on her anymore. So, real interesting. You keep going, bro. C5, C6, you can get up out of that chair, man. So you want to keep going with that all raw, all fruit, all berry, all melon, no vegetables whatsoever. Just really hit this hard. At the same time, I definitely get into the herbs if you can afford it. Get into the herbs. If you can't, get a hold of someone here. We'll try to help you. But I want you out of that chair. You can get out of that chair. And yes, scar tissue eats itself up. But it doesn't in an acid medium, and it never will in an acid medium because that's how you scar. So you got to get your interstitial fluids, you got to get your alkaline balance in there, and that's important to do that. But you got to get your filtration through your kidneys, and of course you're sedentary. So you've got one problem on top of another. Also, you got to get to where you move your bowels every day. I don't know if you have a caregiver that transfers you and everything, but all I can say is that we got to get everything moving. More bowel movements, I know where you are with the story with that, but more bowel movements, everything else. But I'll tell you, your scar tissue can eat yourself up, and I'll tell you this, you can get more new neural pathways. So I'm just saying that this was well worth the journey, bro, and it'll keep the UTIs down to nothing, and once you strengthen, you won't have any decubiti, you won't have any bed sores or butt sores. It's good. Even if you could never get up again, and keep your world a whole lot better and everywhere else. Spasticity would be to a minimum. Everything is down to a minimum. So in every way, I can't even tell you, in so many ways, it'll keep your body well while in the chair. But that's not my goal. My goal is to get that chair out of there. And that's going to take a little bit of work on yourself. I don't know how long you've been down. I have been transitioning to all raw, absent for 4 months. Go, Joshua, go. And don't take no for an answer. Get out of that chair. Okay? And I'll help you do it. Love you guys. All of you guys. And thanks for being strong and behind us. And I love every one of you. I love your comments. I just want you to know that we're a team. And it's an important team because we have to change this world. It just can't go on as you guys see. So thank you so much. And if you guys are suffering, hang in there, guys. Your days are soon over. Health is coming. And just ride that. All you guys that kick butt, I mean, your testimonies makes me cry every day. You guys are really doing some just butt-kicking work. I love you all. Have fun. You guys have fun tonight. And Dancing with the Stars is on tonight. Oh, I don't watch TV. No. I don't watch TV. Oh, and the guy from Bachelor is on. Oh, I don't watch TV. Nope.